NFT Happy Hour. Thanks for stopping by the channel. I'm Joe, and in a couple of minutes, we'll be live streaming a Twitter space where we'll be talking about NFT projects leaving their home blockchains and going to Polygon, which is really been the theme for NFT collections the last several months. I'll be with my co-host Maria. I'll bring her in a second, but welcome, welcome, welcome. We have an NFT project from Stargaze, which is in the Cosmos ecosystem, that has also chosen to now mint on Polygon. So this will be interesting. And on the space, we'll have a special guest from Magic Eden, Metaverse Johnny, who works on the Polygon side of Magic Eden. Maria, how are you?
Hey, how are you?
Great, great. I can't wait to get into this one. It's going to be interesting. I'm going to pop open the
Oh,
space
yes.
in a second. But this is going to be a cool stream. This is our fourth one that we're doing like this. And for people that are watching on the YouTube video, there'll be a proof of participation NFT on Omniflix. I'll put that link in the description of the video after the stream, but you have to listen. The answer for the trivia question will be in the first 15 minutes or so. So, Maria, you could introduce yourself to the YouTube audience. I'm going to start up the space with
Okay.
our people here.
So, hi everyone. If you not knowing me, my name is Maria. I am the founder and creator behind Women from Cosmos, which is a project based on Stargaze. I think we were one of the first NFT art projects to bring one-on-one art to the ecosystem as well to represent women. And it's been a wild ride since the beginning. I launched the first collection March last year. And yeah, I haven't stopped since then.
All right, I'm about to bring up the space, and here we go. Hopefully, it works. I usually like to have it this way, and that should do it. That should do it. So, like I said, we're going to have someone from Magic Eden on. That's going to be interesting. And I'm going to pop on the audio here. But people that are watching this for the first time, you're actually, like I said, you're going to be listening to a Twitter space through YouTube. The live chat will be interactive. That's why we do this. So I'm going to start. Welcome everyone to the space. We're just getting started on YouTube. The chat will be live there. We have a proof of participation NFT, which will depend on you listening very closely, at least for the first 15 minutes. Maria, welcome to the space. Got to add her. Don't tell me it's Ruggin. Are you there? Oh, she a requested speaker. That's okay. We'll get her up here.
Can you hear me now?
Gotcha now. Gotcha
Yes,
now.
finally. I was having some issues. Let me introduce the space again. Welcome, everyone, to the new NFT Happy Hour. We're so excited to be here. Back last week, we did a small stop. So we're here with our new show. We're going to be talking about projects migrating to Polygon. And I want to thank you all for joining us as well. I'm going to thank to whoever is listening to the recording now or watching us through YouTube. Thank you for being here. Grab your favorite drink and let's get this show started. As I said, one of our guests today is going to be Metaverse Johnny, which is someone working on Polygon for Magic Eden. But before, let's gonna hear about Yo. How are you doing?
I'm doing well. This was a nice short week because in America we had a holiday on Monday. And like Maria said, we're live on YouTube. If Twitter Spaces rugs, join us over there. We have the chat going. There's, like I said, there'll be a proof of participation NFT on Omniflix. Thanks to Sisla for setting that up once again. About 700 people claimed the episode 1 proof of participation NFT. So that's a good sign that people they care enough to at least game the proof of participation NFT. But hopefully we have 700 people at least watching the YouTube stream. But yeah, she mentioned we'll have Metaverse Johnny from from Magic Eden, and we'll also have EJ from Space Skellies on the YouTube stream in about 40 minutes, and then we'll have Kyle as well from TSAS on the YouTube stream, so you could join us over there. I don't know, in about 40 minutes, and just want to reiterate, Maria, thanks for shouting out the audience. Last time people were actually tipping us through YouTube, so we definitely appreciate that. There's a lot of hidden work that goes into these, so it's definitely worth it when people are appreciating it with some tips. Love it. Why don't you give your final or not final, but your take on the last episode, which was 2 weeks ago, the BRC20 tokens, which are actually Bitcoin assets, and then we'll get into our main topic today.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, as you probably know, I'm really into ordinals and BRC20 tokens. I think it was a really, really interesting show. So, guys, if you haven't watched it, I would recommend you to go and watch it on YouTube, because we had a really great speaker panel. It was really informative. I don't know, I feel like if you're in crypto, you need to be aware of what are the new trends, or whatever you want to call it.
She's right.
And I think it was really interesting. I've been off as well, so I'm trying to come back and research. Everything is kind of impossible because everything BRC20 tokens, ordinals is continue changing all the time. But yeah, I'm 100% in. Really interesting. I'm gonna be keeping, keeping an eye on them for sure. What about you, Joe?
I still have not bought any BRC20 tokens. I have a bunch of inscriptions, a couple low numbers, which is nice. I have a couple of Bitcoin stamps. I really didn't. There's so many. I think there are 15 or 20,000 different BRC20 tokens. I'll take my time. I'll eventually pick up one just for the heck of it. I'm not expecting them to go anywhere, but you never know what might pump and what, you could quick flip. So maybe I'll do it for that reason. What are you working on now? You have a collab, don't you?
Well, right now I'm working as an artist for Gelato for their Series
Gelato.
3. Yeah, Gelato. Whatever you call it. Yeah, I'm working on that. I'm waiting to see who won the launchpad for Stargate, because I was working for Rebels as well for their new upcoming collection. I created it. It's pretty nice. As well, working behind the scenes for next Women from Cosmos collection. Recently, we created our council. I announced it late yesterday that we're opening, giving everyone the opportunity to join the team and join our universe, from inside. And by doing that, I think I will have more time to focus on creating art as well. So I'm pretty excited. I have already a few applications, let's say. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear from community and see how we can, make Women from Cosmos even bigger. So nice.
I think that's smart. You have a lot of really good community members as well. And I think it's great that they want to help out and contribute something to the projects. I think that's going to be the difference between projects that do well in the long term. It's the community. It's the community. And for people that don't know me, I'm not an artist. I'm not an NFT creator. I collect NFTs. I've been in crypto since 2016, maybe 2017. And yeah, I'm a YouTuber. I focus on tutorials and interviews. And on Twitter, I like doing NFT theme spaces, NFT Happy Hour, which is the number one Cosmos NFT themed space for community engagement. Like I said before, we're streaming this on YouTube. And I also do DeFi 101, which is an educational series on weeknights Eastern Time, where we dive into different crypto topics. But the topic today, shall we get into the topic of today?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead, Joe, because I know that you have something prepared and I really want to hear from you.
Yeah, this is an interesting topic. Projects that are migrating or expanding onto new blockchains. And I mainly focus on the Cosmos ecosystem. Stargaze is the main hub for community and NFTs. And we've seen projects that found a nice little home on Stargaze. They become successful, and they even might mint multiple collections, right? Multiple collections on Stargaze. And then sometimes they look to mint on other platforms, either within Cosmos or outside Cosmos. I made a video on this topic recently. It's linked down below. You could check that out. But Polygon is really a natural landing spot for NFT projects because of incentives, liquidity. They've monopolized the NFT news for several months. And of course, the connection to Ethereum, which I think cannot be understated there. Polygon just has jumped up on the NFT rankings according to cryptoslam.io. They were number 3 in the last week. And the number 3 ecosystem in NFTs is no joke. They did almost $10 million in NFT volume just in a week. And to put it in perspective for people that are focused on Stargaze, Stargaze is doing about 1% of that, right? Compared to Polygon. And a lot of that is from a single artist, right? A single artist who launched Bad Kids has 3 of the top 4 collections, or at least is involved in 3 out of the top 4 collections on Stargaze. So Stargaze is a very niche marketplace, niche community. And based on a poll that I ran this week, the Stargaze community is really loyal to the platform, which is good. But the NFT projects, they have bigger ambitions. They see all this liquidity out there. You almost can't blame them. And the way that I look at it, they're small businesses. They're trying to build their brands, and they face a lot of competition. So they have to do what they can to differentiate and attract new community. NFT projects, they run the greatest risk out of all the crypto projects of running out of money. And it's because their communities are very small, right? Whoever mints their NFT is part of their community, and usually it's a couple hundred people. Maybe it's 1,000 people if you're a big project. But the holders of the original collection, they might look at this migration or expansion, I think that's a better word, as abandoning them. So the projects have a challenge of communicating their roadmap, their vision to everybody who holds their assets. And if they don't do this well, it might cause their current holders to become disinterested, not support the new collection. So we're looking at Polygon today, and specifically the Magic Eden marketplace, which is great. They serve 4 different ecosystems. They have Bitcoin ordinals, they have Polygon, they have Solana, which is how I know them, and then of course Ethereum. So I see Johnny there. I'm going to bring him up, and we will get started here. If anyone has any questions, of course you can. I'll be monitoring the YouTube chat, or you could go down below in the comments. But Johnny, I sent you the invite. Hopefully it works. I've been getting rugged lately.
Yeah, Twitter is playing with us as usual. Hopefully he can join us.
Let's see. But in the meantime, curious, Maria, have you ever seen Magic Eden? I feel like it's the best UI for the best UI
Oh
for
yes,
NFTs.
yes. I use it, I think, for Soul NFTs at the beginning, and now with ordinals, I think it's the most, like everything's super clear, easy to navigate. I love it, to be honest.
Yep, I think they have the best UI. But Johnny's here. I'm glad that it wasn't Twitter playing games. Welcome, man. We got to meet at NFT NYC. You were part of a great panel. Happy to have you on the space and the stream.
Yo, yeah, happy to be here. Yeah, always fun to get to meet with people in person. Definitely like a super fun thing. For me, from a Polygon standpoint, like been on the chain since 2020, so pretty interesting now to like go in person and people actually be pretty curious about the chain that I've poured a lot of my time and efforts into. So yeah, really excited to have like a productive conversation. Hung out with a lot of the Cosmos Stargaze fam out in New York. Like really just wanted to get some visibility onto what you guys are doing. It was like really blown away by the community, and you guys also put together a pretty fun event, I gotta say. But yeah, it's exciting to have this conversation.
Well, welcome. Happy to hear from you. It was pretty cool to actually meet some of the people in the industry, face to face at NFT NYC. That event was fun. I don't know if Maria's questions are going to be fun, but Maria's a hardcore artist dedicated to the space. I know she's got some tough questions, and then I come from the collector, like customer point of view. So you guys will hear definitely 2 different style questions, let's say, coming at Johnny. But Maria, I'll let you put him through the first round of questions. I'm sure he can handle it, but this is going to be fun.
Yes, and I think it's going to be a great opportunity
Yeah,
for
she can't
people
wait.
that maybe are thinking about to move to Polygon. So, Johnny, I would like to know why I should launch a collection on Polygon. It's as simple as this. Like why I should launch a collection on Polygon.
It's a great question.
Yeah, I mean, I think it goes a lot deeper than just like the initial like value proposition. I think the biggest thing for me is like with NFTs, we live in such a content driven economy. I mean, specifically NFTs, they are very content driven, and emotionally driven at that. The beautiful thing about Polygon is it's very community centric. Collaboration is a high value thing. There's not many people on Polygon that will just be what we call gatekeepers in the space, right? There's a lot of that on other chains, too much of that, to be fair, in my opinion. And the beautiful thing on Polygon that without failure every single time is there is this sense of collaboration and, hey, I may be succeeding, but let me pull up a project that's, struggling. How can I assist them? So from a creator to creator standpoint, that's a great thing to have that, internal system of support. And then from a consumer standpoint, it's nice to know that your founders are going to be supported. Also on Polygon, I don't know about you all, but I don't see Vitalik or anything of that nature from ETH or any of that.
Yeah.
Um, out there in the trenches with the community, with the founders, helping build that ecosystem.
He's right.
That's a beautiful thing on Polygon. The BD team is out there every single day on Spaces. Sandeep is out there, getting engaged in communities. And I will say, getting to meet with like the Stargaze, Cosmos ecosystem people, there's a lot of that too. So I think that's actually a beautiful synergy of how that is a thing that does happen on these, layer 2 smaller scale chains. And I think that's a beautiful thing. For me, it comes from a collaborative standpoint. When you want to go and have success, you want to push forward in the ecosystem and growth. As was said earlier, this is a miniature business, right? Like NFTs can become a large scale model, or it can be a small scale business. But at the end of the day, it is still a business model.
Yep.
And when you have partnerships in a Web 2 company, that's a huge thing. And Web 3, it goes leaps and bounds farther. And on Polygon, it's the easiest thing to go and find partnerships with somebody, with anybody. Whether you are the blue chip doing 35 ETH a week, or you're doing 1 ETH a week, there's not a barrier there. And for me, I think that makes it a very positive thing.
Good answer, I think.
I love it. I love the answer. I have to say, I have to admit that that's true. Like I've been joining some Polygon spaces. I got a lot of people following me already, connecting on DM. So I have to say that I felt that, kind of community drive that you have there.
Yeah, I thought that was a great answer. I have a similar question, but from the collector's point of view. And I just Googled how many marketplaces are on Polygon, and I think 17 different NFT marketplaces on Polygon. What is it that you believe Magic Eden has that some of the others just do not, from a UI UX point of view, or just overall experience for a minter / collector?
Yeah, I think like the launchpad capability is very, very huge, right? And to also go and credit, I think a big thing that I really enjoyed about like Polygon as a whole, I just obviously big Polygon fan here, and I just want to be very open about it, right? Is like a beautiful thing that I see is One Planet also a very underrated marketplace, but they also go and docs their launchpad projects. I think like having that sense of accountability is a huge thing, and that's what Magic Eden we do very thoroughly. If you look actually at the last 60 days and the top 30 projects, more than half of those have came from the Magic Eden Launchpad. And those are all reputable projects that have been doxed through a stellar vetting system. So I think that's a large scale thing. Primaries, having a reputable place to go and get mints and be a part of that and figure out what's coming up next. So all the collectors can go and find their next 10x and find their generational wealth, right? So that's one thing. And then to your point, yeah, I think Magic Eden, we're very heavily on like UI UX. I think what you always want to do when you think about users in any field is the ease of onboarding, right? And when you can have a very good user experience, that makes it a very easy onboarding, which then for a creator makes it very simple for somebody to be able to buy your NFTs. And at the end of the day, a marketplace's main goal, especially Magic Eden's, is how do we empower creators and how do we cater to the broader community? So that's consumers, right? And that's our target demographic. So I think having a very hands-on approach from an ecosystem standpoint, a marketplace standpoint, is really where, I get pumped about, being a part of Magic Eden and, the things that we're doing on an innovative standpoint. When we get a feature request, granted, hey, devs have to dev. That's a big saying I like to push. Devs have to dev. It doesn't happen overnight sometimes, like I wish it would, but when we hear feedback from the community, we're going to implement it, right? So I think that's a big thing from a Magic Game standpoint, like why it's a very solid thing. It's a solid vetting process, a well-known, reputable source. Obviously, has had great success on Solana. Coming over to Polygon, it's been very reputable, great projects launching through there. And then, on the Bitcoin realm, I mean, the top Bitcoin marketplace and putting out great launches as well. So from an all-around standpoint, right, not just Polygon, but Magic Eden as a whole, catering to creators and the consumers and the community, that's all that we really truly care about and value. And there's been some bumps along the road, like anything, like any business, but you learn from those things, and I promise you don't make the same mistake twice. And I think we made enough mistakes in our first year that a lot of those mistakes are minimalized now. So Polygon is getting the very beautiful side, right? Of, not having to deal with any of those, issues or things of that nature. And I guess that's my big thing is like, we're very hands-on within the ecosystem in regards to how do we support. And that makes me pretty happy to, to be a part of this company.
Oh, thanks for that, man. Thank you.
That's pretty nice. And now that you mentioned that you guys like really help creators, like for example, in my case, like I'm a well-known artist on Stargaze, but I don't have any audience on Polygon. Like, there are any specific tool you guys provide to new artists, moving to your platform to give them like the attention and to put a light on them? How do you do that?
Yeah, I mean, for example, right, one of the top Polygon projects to come through here is actually Wreck Dogs. A week before they launched on Polygon, they were on Aptos. We assigned a business development operative and then an ops coordinator to handle their whole entire onboarding process and a marketing manager. 3 people fully assigned to that project going through our launchpad.
Wow.
Assisting and making valuable, collabs for them, intros to projects, helping with partnerships from top to bottom, making sure their contracts are good. We're setting up their community with, hey, how do I mint a Polygon NFT? A lot of people don't understand how to do that. So how do we help, educate these people to make a seamless onboarding experience? And at Magic Eden, it's this very personalized thing from a launchpad standpoint, which is what you're speaking on of like, how do you build this audience? On the Launchpad side, it's very hands-on. There's an assigned business development coordinator. There's a assigned marketing representative. And there's a assigned ops coordinator. 3 people assigned to assisting you in your journey from launch to successful launch and so on all the way past with that hands-on support, whether it's intros to the Polygon ecosystem team themselves or intros to projects or other creators. It's a point A to point B the whole way through. How can we assist you? And to me, like, from a creator standpoint, that is a massive thing to have, like a marketplace that's genuinely going to go and be like, hey, how can we assist? How can we help? I think that's a really good thing. And like from a creator standpoint, that always pumps me up, right? Because for me, a big thing that I like to focus on at Magic Eden as a whole is like, how do we empower these creators? And also, every ecosystem is different, right? Cosmos is different from Polygon. Polygon's different from Solana. Solana's different from ETH, so on and so forth. Every community is different. Every creator is different. So learning how to cater to these specific groups is a big thing that we've really tried to focus in on. And, through the method of putting through as many launches as we have since, we came over here officially in January, it's been a very nice thing to be able to go and really understand how do we cater to these projects and set them up for success all the way up to launch and past it.
That's pretty amazing, to be honest, to hear, like, to have the support since the very beginning. Because, sometimes even if you have like a lot of excitement, maybe you launch not in the best timing, and being able to have that team behind you, and more when you're starting your journey in this NFT, world, is pretty nice. It's pretty nice.
Yeah, no, I like everything about Magic Eden. I've used it for Solana. I've used it for ordinals. I don't have, I don't think I have any. Oh, I do have some Polygon NFTs, but they're on a centralized platform. I haven't transferred them off yet. They're sports autograph NFTs. So I have a bunch of those. And maybe I'll self custody those at some point to just see how Polygon works. But anyone in the audience, if you've got any Polygon Matic NFTs, I would like to see like a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you have no plans to buy any anytime soon. Because my next question is about the fact that Polygon invested a lot into attracting collections that were already established on other chains. I know there were incentives for a select few projects like DGods, right? Do you think that's going to be effective in the long run? Do you think that Polygon is investing too much in this area? Maybe it's too risky to do this? What's your take on the route that they chose? And is this going to eventually bring in new users or just artists or project founders, let's say?
Yeah, I actually really like this question. So I guess
Thanks,
like
man.
let me just kind of lay out the scope for you a little bit. Like, so yeah, obviously Polygon, gave a grant to, let's just call it Dust Labs, but genuinely really just for Utes for their bridge from Solana
Utes.
over to Polygon.
Right.
A lot of people are like, why would you, pay for this? It was more than just like, hey, come over here. It was already a consideration, but there was a grant given to them. And to put it on a very high level, at the time before they came over, Utes was doing more volume, a single collection, than the whole entire ecosystem of Polygon NFTs.
I believe that.
The whole entire ecosystem. On top of that, Utes has the top content creators in all of Web3. Everywhere you look on your timeline, you are either seeing about Frank or you're seeing about Utes and what they're doing.
Yeah.
They're hard to miss. But more than that, obviously, yes, you're getting great content creators, which will then, as I said, NFTs are very content driven. So, to go and have content written about obviously Utes, but what then happens is a lot of those Utes creators have now began to write content about Polygon NFTs as a whole. So that's also how adoption gets out there. That's how you go and onboard more of that audience. And then you also get their creators. Utes are a very innovative group of people. To me, I kind of think Utes is like an innovative PFP. That's really what that community is. And what they've done a great job of is through their whitelist system. They called it Utes list, and scholarships. It was really hard to get a part of, but by getting a part of it, they really were able to customly create who was going to be in this community.
Yeah.
So there's great founders. A lot of Utes community members have ended up becoming founders on Polygon because of the support system. So in terms of that decision itself, yeah, it was a genius move from whoever did that. It obviously has correlated great things and brought attention to the Polygon ecosystem, and they're definitely reaping the benefits now by taking what I think we could all consider a risk. Yeah. Additionally, outside of that, there hasn't really been any other projects like, hey, we're going to give you a grant to come over and bridge. Everything else that's happening now is just a natural funnel, and that's the interesting thing about Polygon. They've obviously, I don't know if you look outside of, I know obviously you look a good bit at DeFi. We had that conversation on our call recently. Polygon really leads the space in DeFi innovation and infrastructure. They do a great job on the gaming realm itself.
Don't know if that's true.
But what they were really lacking on was like the PFP, NFT realm, or everything of that nature. By doing this with the Utes, they kind of now have this whole entire pronged effect where they really control and have a large sense of dominance across as an ecosystem themselves, right? Having a great DeFi infrastructure scaling opportunity there, spreading that over to NFTs. So yeah, I think like what's actually happened is like it was a genius move. In the long term, I think it'll even be better. I don't think they're going to do it a lot more. I think it was like, what's the top one that we go and acquire? Obviously, it was Utes. And pulling them has obviously led to great opportunities where, now Pudgy Penguins have their soulbound NFTs, where I don't know if anybody saw, but Pudgy Penguins released their phygital items. And when you actually get your physical Pudgy Penguin, when you scan it, it's a soulbound NFT on Polygon. and all those traits and everything of that accessibility is all on Polygon. And that's just from like a Utes standpoint of what Utes did. After Utes did it, then Pudgy Penguins has their low Pudgies, which are on ETH. And now, granted, they actually have it where you can go to Aptos and various different chains, but Polygon was one of those as well. So I think what actually happened was people saw like a large scale project of the nature of Utes was willing to go and try on Polygon. And then since then, a lot of great projects that were lined up to go to different chains have came to Polygon. Alpha was really aiming towards going towards Solana, one of the top Polygon projects now. As I said, RecDogs was going to go to Aptos. So I think some of that is like you take the risk. It could have been like a very bad thing. I think we all understand that. Like it could have worked out complete opposite of how it has. But thankfully, it turned out amazing. So yeah, I actually think it's a great thing. I don't know if they're going to go and do too much more of that grant process though. I don't have any insights into it, but from like my standpoint, I think they're doing very good as is right than go and do any more of that acquisition side.
Well, maybe you have less to gain by doing it now because, like I said earlier, Polygon most recently has been number 3 of all the blockchains in volume. I think when I first started paying attention to Polygon, they were like 8 or 9, but that's quite a jump because there's huge gaps between the top 10 blockchains, and I mean no one's close to Ethereum by a long shot. So really, it's like a race for second place, and Polygon has just fired up through the rankings, and I think it started with that DeGods grant, right? To have them, it was probably even a bigger risk for them at the time when you think about it, but I think it ended up being great, like you said, for the platform, but also the chain, because now people are introduced to all the, whether it be gaming or DeFi that exist on Polygon. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think like even for the marketplace, like Magic Eden itself, like also now with ordinals, all this amount of people putting attention to that, you can clearly see that Magic Eden is one of the top marketplaces for ordinals as well. I know, Joe, you have one question about that for Johnny.
yeah, I do have one more question about Magic Eden, and then we could maybe ask about Johnny's NFT project that he has. So my question about the ordinals is, since the addition of that ordinals front end, right? How has that affected volume on the platform? Has it taken away from any of the other chains' volume? Do you know if it's just improved across the board, bringing Bitcoin people in who maybe tend to be the most maximalist community? I would probably guess the OG Bitcoiners. What have you seen from where you sit?
Dude, it's crazy to think about, but Ordos has created such a great run for NFTs as a whole.
Wow.
And it's also like a very unique that now like Magic Eden we can offer. For example, there's a handful of projects that we've actually launched on Magic Eden since January that now with our tools and our capability we can assist them to go to ordinals and spread their audience.
That's right.
And we've had the opportunity to do that. But yeah, dude, like it has been an amazing thing to go and obviously assist the ordinals community. As you said, like the OG Bitcoin Maximalists are definitely the most like core community there is out there. But it's led to great things for the NFT market as a whole.
That's
and
good
yeah,
to hear.
obviously done great things for every single ecosystem, really. Solana, ETH, Polygon. I think like now, granted, on the flip side, I think like meme coins are they tend to take away a lot of volume. During meme coin season, you see a large scale volume drop off.
Oh,
But
wow.
ordinals, innovations alive, NFTs are talking on the timeline. It just leads to good things. And then you have like your OG Satoshi Maxis, is what I like to say. And they're seeing everything that Ordinal's doing, and it spreads to other ecosystems. It spreads to, all right, let's go look at Solana. Let's go look at ETH. Let's go look at Polygon. So those chains are all getting, very positive effects from users looking at Bitcoin on our platform. And then they go and spread to those other, ecosystems. So yeah, dude, it's been amazing.
That's interesting because we don't know if this is a fad, right? Cosmos Coffee House in the YouTube chat said it might be a fad, and he's an NFT creator on Stargaze himself, very interested in NFTs. But we also could be looking at like almost pre DeFi on Bitcoin, and Magic Eden is positioned to basically bridge Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, which is number 4 in volume of NFTs, and Polygon. It's pretty wild where you guys are positioned right now might be the best place of any platform, because I don't think OpenSea trades the emblem vaults, but they don't actually trade inscriptions that I know of, unless it happened recently. So Magic Eden is definitely well positioned across ecosystems.
Yeah, man. I mean, I think like cross chain is genuinely the future. I think what you're going to see a lot more of is like projects themselves, even having multiple collections and assets. I think especially on a gaming perspective, if there's like a low gas fees, I think a lot of gaming projects are going to go to that cross chain mindset. When you stay in one field, that's a very specific niche and target demographic and target audience for you to onboard into your community. From a creator standpoint, cross chain, you're going to be able to go and acquire various different communities, various different users, because as you said, you have your users on Cosmos that are Cosmos maxis, you have your Polygon maxis, you have your Solana maxis, and when you're able to take these moves of cross chain, right? And a lot of people get kind of scared about it. Even I did, like I used to be genuinely through and through a Polygon maxi. But once you kind of take a look at this cross-chain mindset and the opportunity there from a creator and consumer standpoint, there's so much to gain. It's not. It's a very easy decision to go and be like, okay, let me venture into these other chains and see what aligns with me.
Yeah, and not only that, Magic Eden has abstracted a lot of it away, right? You're just basically just toggling between blockchains, and then it picks up the wallet that it needs to pick up. Within a minute, you could mint something on all 4 chains, which is, I think, the most important thing, because you can't have people come to your site and be confused, right? You have to help them spend their money, and Magic Eden has put a lot of effort into the UI UX. And I noticed it when I minted a couple of Solana rug pulls, we'll call them. But I used Magic Eden, and I was like, wow, Magic Eden is pretty sweet.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I think the minting portion. I like what you said there, Maria. I mean to interrupt you, but yeah, I think the minting portion is like super key too. Because a lot of, for me, the most like bullish time of like NFTs is like when people are minting. That's the most excitement. That's the most FOMO, is like a minting period. It's hard to replicate the emotional gratification you get while minting in any other aspect. So if you can have that experience seamlessly on all 4 chains on one site, on one platform, that's a very nice thing to have.
He's good, this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. It's what I was about to say. Like, it's pretty nice and really convenient, actually, if you want to try like different ecosystem, just doing it with the same platform and knowing that you're going to have a team behind. I think it's pretty cool. But before we move to YouTube, I actually wanted to ask you, Johnny, because you mentioned that you have a collection. I had no idea about that. So if you can please guide me or tell me which is your collection, what it's about.
Yeah. So BZC actually, we launched in 2021 on Polygon, back when it was a very quiet area. 10K PFPs, and like, to be completely transparent, right? I'm very big on transparency. It was really just like degen vibes, PFP project. Let's build a community. And we had the full plans of just going that route, right? I think we all kind of understand what that method is, what that roadmap is, right? Just vibes and community centric, and innovating on that side with merch and those types of ideas. And yeah, dude, like, it wasn't very personally fulfilling from a team point of view to just do that. So we were like, all right, like, the community's pretty pumped up. What do we do about this? And we created the BZC token, donated 10% of that to a couple charities across the board.
Nice.
And like, a big thing is like, we really adopted this DAO model in philanthropy. So we came right out the gates, donated 10% of that token supply to charity, help them actually go and make some positive impacts in the world. And then everything else since then has all been airdrops.
Signal.
We've really just embraced the model of like surprise and delight. As I said, like, Polygon's been a very quiet place up until January. So it's like, it's kind of lame to just like make people buy more and more things, especially if you're trying to just open up your ecosystem. So it's like, all right, let's airdrop them. Hey, our top users, our top contributors, the people that are genuinely top of this community, let's reward them. So just really did this surprise delight method, spread out our ecosystem, and right now where we're at, is we have some staking platforms being opened up right now with like rewards. Obviously, like I love BD. BD is my thing. So we have a lot of like Web2 utilities that with your rewards points from staking, you'll be able to get access to. And then outside of that is we actually have an IPFS supported metaverse that's launching. It's in its test phases right now. We've been in our test phases for a little bit too long than I would like. It takes a little bit of time, but it's in its test phases. And as I said, like I'm a very big fan of like bridging Web2 to Web3. And what a lot of this is like Web2 brands, Web2 companies, Web2 associations, right? And being able to have access to that in our metaverse, in IPFS, and also be able to play a game that's and all this really leads to is like this experience of like monetization and creating this monetizational platform for our community. And like each holder of our NFT gets like a free apartment in the metaverse, like tailored to them. So yeah, like that's the big spiel. That's what it's all about. But yeah, surprise and delight. I don't like to
Surprise
do
and
too much
delight.
talking
I
about it,
like
right?
that. I
I
like
like
that.
to let what I deliver, what I do, what I build, show forward, and people find out naturally.
I love that. I love that. I have to say. I don't know if you, Joe, has any more questions.
No, I don't. But I know that you're going to be taking advantage of NFT staking provided by ONFT. Is that right? And maybe you could just comment quick on that. I
Yes.
DM'd Wolfman. Hey, if he wants to jump up and shout it out before we head over to YouTube, which we will in a couple of minutes. I know EJ is waiting to meet us over there as well as Cal. It's probably like really late by him, but yeah. Any comment on your partnership, if you want to call it that, with ONFT?
Yes. So
Yeah.
basically, ah,
Oh,
okay.
you're
Sorry,
doing
I
OT
thought it
too?
was with me as well.
Oh, I don't know
It's
who it
okay.
is.
It's okay.
Joe, who
It's
is it?
okay. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'm
See,
sorry,
we're
Maria.
fighting for to talk
you
about
can
you,
you can slap
Wolfman.
me. You can slap me when you see me in New York again. It's okay.
No, no, no,
I'm
no, no.
okay. Fine, it's fine. But yeah, no. I mean, ONFT is like a really great team. Yeah, obviously, like from our side, right? I'm very big on like not putting stress on like a development team. And right now, like our development team is strapped building the things we're building in terms of like IFS Metaverse and
Hate when that happens.
the small scale game to bring all the assets to life and have that form of monetization and profitability on that side. And also like what that also does is create a very unique way to like reward community. But it's like what's a very great thing to have in the interim time, staking. And it's like, yeah, we could build it, but it's like timelines takes our eyes off the prize, which is like this metaverse. And NFT is a great team. Really got to meet them and talk with them, and obviously something I have support to anybody. And yeah, obviously, like they were able to get us up on the Polygon side, so super excited to build with them. And yeah. Maria, I'll let you go on your thing. It's probably much more beneficial than what I said, but
Uh,
yeah, that was my quick little
Oh,
mumbo
no, no,
jumbo.
no. Not at all. I was about to explain about ONFT staking, but who better than Wolfman? Wolfman, go and shine, please.
Oh, Maria, you're so kind. I just love you guys. And Johnny, it's good to talk with you, man. I know it's been a minute too. We've been working hard to get the Polygon integration. You guys and Hero were the first two to go live, so super pumped to get that going. Actually, we just got you live today, so you guys will be able to, when you're ready, make an announcement and everything. But we're excited, man. Polygon has got some incredible creators migrating from Stargaze, and a lot of amazing creators over there, and to be able to just have a platform where we let NFT creators do what they do best, and we'll handle a lot of the stuff that makes it really fun, makes it engaging. But your efforts are better creating the things that are the most important, and so we really want to create some of the essential tools that we think that can be free and easy to use for teams, just by being able to stake your NFT, having a marketplace, even being able to have a merch store and private transactions and everything else through our platform, all in one hub, because right now we just see it too as like the
Look at all
space
these
is so
people.
fragmented. You have to go to this platform to do quests, this platform to do whitelists, this platform to do collabs, this platform for that. And so it's just like you're hopping and jumping. And for if we want to onboard, the masses into this space, we really, our goal is to empower creators to. I really feel like you'll see a lot less rugs too when you have these kind of tools, because it's
Yeah.
less overwhelming when you can easily get set up. You can easily have a merch store. You can easily have raffles and gauging systems, and have your own little token to have your people stake with and everything else. And so being able to have those tools like right away out the gate when you first get started, or even if you're an established team, so that you can focus on the more important aspects of your community and the goals that you're trying to do, I think is just essential. And being able to have it as a multi-chain hub, again, just like what Magic Eden does, but we're doing it on the other side
Skelly's is
of
coming to
helping
YouTube.
creators get going and the tools that they need. I think those are the key elements that really just take the space to another level. And yeah, man, so excited to just be able to announce that though, because yeah, Johnny's a great guy. I met him in spaces with Matic Man months back, in the early days when I was first looking into Polygon and hearing about some of the other teams going over. And I mean, just some of the best energy you can find in a spaces. I mean, Polygon people are absolutely amazing. And so for me, Stargaze and Polygon people intermixing and getting to know each other, and these
I
ecosystems
like
coming
doing
together.
this.
I like Johnny said too. I think multi-chain is it's the future. And when we stop seeing, borders and start seeing bridges, I think that's the future of what we all want to see, especially as creators and community members. So thanks for having me come up, y'all. Take care.
Hey, thanks, man. And feel free to share what you have to share, not only up top, but in the thread, because we're about to close this out and head over to YouTube, but at least it will be in the thread down below in the comments, I should say. Johnny, man, I really appreciate it. Thanks for agreeing to come on. I mean, it was great to meet you. And now we're making some good content, letting people know about just what's going on with Magic Eden and Polygon for people that are curious or maybe like not so sure about Polygon because they don't want to see collections jumping chain to chain, right? It might create work for them to follow, but I really appreciate it.
Dude, I appreciate you guys having me on.
Great
Like,
guy, man. What a great
I
guy.
think I was a little bit poosh wasty the night that I met you in New York. I will take full responsibility for that. But I remember you coming up to me and asking about Magic Eden, and dude, I may have fumbled, to be honest.
I don't
I think
remember that.
Maria saw.
Oh my God.
I know Bands is in the audience. I know she saw. I definitely enjoyed myself in New York, as I believe you should. Work hard, play even harder, and that's my motto. I'm gonna brand that. But yeah, work hard, play hard, and but yeah. So I think I kind of fumbled it. So obviously, like, want to have the opportunity to talk about it again, and yeah, man, like getting to meet you, and obviously, like, you're a great person. Have a lot of mutual friends, and
So Mia
yeah,
Maria,
I'm always big on, like, anytime I can share, like,
what a good guy.
the knowledge that I
Nice
have,
guy.
and spread it out there to the community, and whether it's just like help answer questions, help people know like why Polygon, or maybe they don't align with it, maybe they don't want to, and that's fine, but at least it's answering questions, giving people an understanding. But dude,
Powerball
always
jump
fun to
off.
come jam. Down to do it anytime, just let me know. I'll throw it on the calendar, and you got me anytime. It was a great time, great host, and a fun space.
All right, yeah, we're gonna close this out. I know because Bitcoin just requested, but if you want to join us over at YouTube, we're streaming right now. We're streaming the space, and everybody is of course invited. We have a little giveaway from EJ and Space Skellies, maybe to get you started on Polygon. So yeah, thanks so much. Episode 4 in the books. Now we're going over to YouTube to have some fun. This is about the time when the drinks kick in, so this will be fun. Maria, thanks so much. She's giving me thumbs up. And everybody have a great weekend. Close this out. Here we go. Quick transition here. Quick transition. All right.
There we go.
Not bad, right? It gets better every week. Cal is here from TSAS. I'm going to bring him in a second. But
Yes.
I'm going to decompress for a second. That was a good space. He's just a good, I guess, he's a marketing guy. He's a good communicator.
Yes.
Good communicator, loves the platform, loves the NFT space as a whole. He'd probably do great anywhere. Magic Eden, Polygon's very smart. Magic Eden might be smarter just in terms of delivering what's needed for like a beginner NFT collector. This is the easiest platform to use. They span 4 ecosystems, and we got Johnny to give us some good info and some good answers to our questions.
Yeah, absolutely. And to be honest, I wasn't expecting that they are actually guiding the artist through the entire process. Like
Same.
I thought that it was like, okay, launchpad, and you fly away alone. But it was really nice to hear that.
Yeah, yeah. I just brought them in. Let me see if I could balance this out. There we go. That's so much better. So bottom left, we got Cal. He's the Space Ape Society founder or co-founder. And then EJ is bottom right, Skelly's founder. What I find interesting about both these projects minted their first collections on Stargaze, but actually came from Terra, right? Now possibly looking at Polygon. So they've had like the multiple ecosystem mindset probably from the beginning and have probably done a little shopping as far as what's the best chain, what's the best platform going back like a year, right?
Now, guys, it's just your turn to speak.
Sorry, guys. I wasn't chiming
That's
in. I
okay.
didn't know if that was a question
It was not.
directed to us. Hi,
It wasn't a
guys.
question. It was bad talking by me, so I apologize for that.
Hey, Cal, you take it
Yeah,
first,
no,
man.
no, I guess like I think for a long period of time for us, it a place where we've kind of, like you said, we've looked at a lot of blockchains during our time at Stargaze and prior as well. And what we've kind of come to the conclusion is, where do we want to see the progression with our project, and where do we see the volume come in the bull run of 2024, 2025? Where do we see projects kind of landing and looking to push the Web 2/Web 3, well, we like to call Web 2.5? And I think the biggest narrative comes from Polygon, in the way they've accumulated partnerships with bigger brands within the whole Web3 space. And I think what they've done in the way of approaching and trying to integrate Web2 into Web3, I think that's been our biggest focal point for our adaptation or our growth towards Polygon. I guess that's how one way of summing it up. And the second way is, where do we see the biggest adoption for new people joining Web3? And I think that's where, if you've got a Web2 connection, if for a person that's coming new to the space, it's easier to adopt something that they see already in IRL. So I think the transition there makes it easier. So it gives us a bigger opportunity to showcase what we've achieved on a bigger platform with new eyes, I guess.
I know that you think on a very long time horizon compared to a lot. And EJ, same thing with you, right? I remember actually like a year ago, little less than a year ago, EJ was like torn between Stargaze and Polygon. And at the time, it seemed like Polygon didn't have the right launch pad for what you were looking to do. Is that right? EJ, I'm trying to think if I remember correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. At that time, there was no launch pad. There was no marketplaces on Polygon. That's why when we moved to Polygon, it's very natural, because we had met a lot of the community. And you mentioned earlier, there was a lot of marketplaces trying to form, but the question was, we even made a joke one time. We're like, where do we even go to buy NFTs? Like, we didn't even know where to go. And when we were looking at these chains, and then when we went to Stargaze, it definitely helped narrow it down, make it simple, and then yeah. But that's absolutely right. At that time, we were definitely just kind of waiting, and we were with One Planet, and we're just waiting and waiting and waiting. And sooner or later, you can only wait for so long. But,
yes.
Yeah.
Yep. And by the way, for people in the chat, thanks for joining. I'm writing down anybody that checks in, says hello in the chat. We'll do a wheel spin. EJ's got a little bit of Matic tokens that we can give away, right? And yeah, all you gotta do is say hello in the chat. But I actually, I want to take this opportunity to have both you guys on. I want to just ask you some quick yes or no questions like I usually do. And maybe you guys can, starting with Cal, EJ, just quick answer them. And I'll run through these 3 questions. Does that sound all right?
Perfect.
Okay. Yeah. So Cal, you could answer first, and then EJ, and then I'll just roll right through them. Did either of you receive any incentives or grants to mint your collections on Polygon?
For me, no.
No, we were
No. Okay.
offered. We were offered. And sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No. Good.
Yeah, we were offered a while back discounted launch fees, and that, but no grants.
Got it. All right. Do either of you plan to develop those Stargaze collections further, or are you going to spend like 90% of the energy on establishing the new community over on Polygon?
I think that's quite a
Yeah.
loaded question. For me, it's our time is, but we've got a, I'm lucky to say we've got a big council, and we are going to be dividing up our time equally, to make sure that we've got enough time and resources on both chains. But for me personally, we're looking to establish a presence on Polygon at the moment. And I think right now it's important to establish a connection with the Polygon users. And I think once you've established that connection, we've already built on Stargaze, and we do want to continue building on Stargaze. And I think what we're trying to do is I think like the idea that Shane kind of put forward was, if we can put our best foot forward for Polygon on Polygon, it opens further doors for Stargaze users as well. Because one, it gives us the opportunity to showcase what we've achieved, and then if the community gets involved in Polygon, they may want to branch into things that we've already achieved previously. So I guess it's a gateway to an open door for both communities.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, that's a good answer. EJ, what about you?
Yeah, great question. So our collections have a bridge, right? So you guys can choose to move to where you feel is where you want to be, right? If you feel there's more liquid in A or B, you have that option to move. Spaceships are next, and then things go from there. But currently, we'll just say this live here. We were accepted by Magic Eden today. First people to hear that are you guys right now. So we were actually accepted by Magic Eden today.
Nice.
We will put all of our focus and energy into building Polygon. But like you both know, after our long talk last night, and Shane and others that I've spoken with, our long-term vision is it's just a long-term vision to bring everything to utility and usage to every NFT or collection we have. Whether you own that token on whatever chain and your buddy owns it on a different chain, but it's the same collection, we want to bring usage to everything, and it takes time. So the short answer is our focus is Polygon, but we will never forget about Stargaze and continue to go from there. And we also have, I do want to say, I heard you guys talking earlier, is that we have Bitcoin ordinals, and that's actually one of our most active communities is the Bitcoin sub. So we're building a lot of places at once, and our goal is to loop it all together. We just need time.
Got it. Last question for yes or no anyway. Any decrease in either trading volume or interest since announcing the Polygon mints? Another loaded question.
For TSAS, we've seen, I think, the initial was the fact that the transitional period didn't come across the way we wanted to, and I guess that's down to our fault, as in we didn't have the foresight, because the idea of the word that we used was migration. Now, when you use the term migration, people feel like you're upping and leaving, when that's not the true story. It's always about context and understanding what we're trying to do. Our idea is, well, the word should have been expansion, So the idea was to expand our horizon to new users, and bring them into TSAS as a project and bring them into the fold of what we've been creating in terms of storytelling, lore, the staking side, the whole community aspect. So I guess from our side, like I said, it's been um, a more of an uphill task, I would say, trying to get the community back on side, because initially, like the idea when we did announce after EJ them about the move, people had this conception that we were taking everything away. Everything from TSAS is moving to from Stargaze to Polygon, which was not the actual process. It was only moving one collection due to the fact that it makes it easier for us to launch the 3D collection, which was already earmarked for Polygon, to do the transition with the airdrops and everything. So I guess, like you say, if we could have done this again, the wording and the terminology used would be used differently to make sure people didn't feel that we were leaving a chain that we were very successful on. It was more that we're trying to branch out and bring in more users, which will potentially benefit Stargaze as a whole.
Cool. EJ, what about you? Has interest or volume suffered since the announcement to go to Polygon?
Yeah, so interest is up, community action is up, volume is down. We've done over 325K if you equivalent that to stars. But as far as like interaction with the community, way scale higher now. And then just the network we've had is 10x easily from the transition. So however you want to look at it, we really realized over the last month is utility is very like opinion based, and community is what pushes everything. So we really put a ton of our energy into making community events and community situations happen. Just like our new Discord bots that are all getting dropped, the most recent one, and we came out. And as you guys know, there was a marketing strategy behind what we did. It was to make noise, and you both know that when we talked, it was to make noise and disrupt Stargaze because what was being done wasn't getting done, needed more to be done. But yeah, so that's just the honest answer. Community's up, interactions up, volume I would say is same or slightly less.
All right, good to know. Maria, what about you? You're going to head over to Polygon after hearing these two guys and Johnny?
I need time, but I've never seen it like a bad move, to be honest. Maybe because I'm an artist and I understand that at the end, this is like a small business, and what you want is to expand and making it possible to reach other people. And I really believe, like, if I am in Polygon and I really like your project, I'm gonna research and see like what was the first you launched, where it was. Maybe I want to join, maybe I will go to Stargaze, and and by doing that I see another collection. I don't know, I never get this kind of feeling or sentiment of being one chain only, to be honest. I mean, just myself, I started as an NFT artist on Ethereum and I launched my project on Stargaze. So I think it's a great move. Just needs to be, explain it, let's say, properly to community for them to understand that actually it's a great idea to spam and to try to get more people. I don't know. This is what I believe.
I agree. And like as the customer who I'm going to buy NFTs, and I generally don't buy NFTs with the intention of flipping them like a week later. I don't do that. I buy the NFT if I'm genuinely interested in the project. I want to see what they're going to do, right? When the times are not so great, are they going to try to get by with limited resources on a roadmap that might be just not attainable? Do I want to just give up on a project that's maybe migrating or expanding because I'm kind of set in my ways and I want to stay on one platform? I have NFTs on like 15 or 16 blockchains, right? So I don't even think of it as hedging. I think NFTs, we're still very early with NFTs. I think NFTs have way more functionality than what's been explored. I don't know, you guys might agree, but I don't see NFTs in games yet as like mainstream, like, oh, this is an NFT game. I don't see, commercials on TV for companies that are releasing NFT collections. And I feel like that's where we'll eventually get. And I think NFTs are going to be used primarily in DeFi, as we've seen all these fungible tokens get absolutely smashed down to zero because they're worthless, right? They have horrendous tokenomics. At least with NFTs, they're opt-in. You have a niche community, and the supply is capped. So I think we'll see NFTs do even better against fungible tokens in the next bear market. So I'm ready to go to any platform to follow projects.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more that there's a lot of liquidity and there's a lot of projects out there moving around. And if you got belief in a project, you just go where you believe in them, right? That's it. And if you don't believe in them, you just sell your NFT. You don't need to cry about it. You don't need to whine. You should invest in a project, invest in a team, and then believe in their decisions. That's the bottom line, and that's literally, there's no other way to put it. Your opinions they don't pay the bills, right? So people that are building in the team that's making very hard decisions, they don't need people nagging in the background. Having NFTs across multiple chains and doing it correctly, knowing when the market's cycling from tokens to, well, I don't want to say tokens from crypto to an NFT token. I don't want to get confused. That you need to know when to cycle your NFTs for liquid and then when to go back into NFTs. And most likely, once you learn that, any chain you're on just becomes it just becomes a cycle. It's the same concept. So that's all I got on that.
On a scale of 1 to 10, I'll let Cal answer this. On a scale of 1 to 10, how great is my shirt right now?
I've got to give it an 11. That t-shirt's great. Not that I'm a big fan of the person that you're wearing it for, but yeah, great t-shirt. It's a great look
Got
as
my
well.
Skelly shirt at NFT NYC. I don't know how it made it home with me that night, but I held on to it. I think I put it in my pocket actually. And B-Bands hooked me up. Maria, you got one too, right?
Yes, and funny thing is, I was about to wear it.
I thought you were
So,
gonna.
yeah, bad me. Nah.
See, after 3 weeks, we were on the same page, and week 4 is where it just starts to go wrong. We're not on the same page
I
anymore.
was feeling fancy. Maybe I wear a shirt.
You're doing all right. You're doing all right. No one's complaining in the chat. I
Just
think
matching with my background, this
that's true.
amazing condo.
She's got the bull market penthouse. She's all ready for the bull market. We talked about this in
I'm
one of
already
our.
there.
Yeah, I'm already there. I'm in the spaceship. I'm ready to bail if the bear market gets any worse.
That makes a few of us, right? So no, it's been, hey, we've been building through all this and the craziness. We're definitely not going anywhere now. We're here to enjoy the bull market whenever that decides to come around. But patience is key.
I was hoping actually, Kyle, if you could get everyone up to speed, maybe like if you had to just fit it into a tweet. How does the move to Polygon fit with the roadmap that you've already completed? Because you guys have quite a bit on Stargaze. Just curious.
Yeah. So, wow. Again, with a fully loaded 250 characters. How do I fit this in? So this is it's how would I go about saying something? For me, like, it's TSAS is they're explorers, exploring different chains, exploring different universes. What we want to do as a project is build societies wherever we go. And at this present moment is transitioning to a new planet, like the purple planet of Polygon, is where we want to build another home. And building that home will mean that we involve all of our community that we've already built, and expanding and building a new community or a evolving community with Polygon. And I guess that's where we are at the moment, evolving the space, looking at different ways to branch out, and looking at different areas that we could fit, especially like say Polygon, such a big pie at the moment.
Yeah.
And I think me and EJ have talked about this prior. Like there are not as many projects as people expect them to be already on Polygon. And getting in early, like we did with Stargaze, it always means that you're going to be one of the OGs, and you want to kind of place yourself in the right spot before the bull run comes about. make sure that your collection's up to speed, you're doing everything that you can as a project, and like you say, you're either following your current roadmap or you are keeping it evolved, or you're making sure that everything that you're doing is organic. If you have to bridge something, if you have to pivot, then you do that. Just like EJ was talking about BTC and ordinals, we have an ordinal connect collection ready as well, but we don't think it's the right time. We've got a collection that's sub 1 million inscribed. We thought we took the plunge. We got it in early, and we were just going to sit on it because, like you say, anything that sits on that chain, it's always going to be a store of value in a certain way. So we're going to keep doing what we have been doing. And right now, like I say, we're integrating a lot of the stuff that we've been doing with the community. We're doing a lot of burns with the human collection, and just trying to bring the feel good factor back in with our community.
EJ, what about you? I know you guys have the bridge. How does that work exactly for people that haven't been keeping up?
I was gonna say one word tweet would just be like empire. That's what we're building, and that's the
Okay.
goal. Like literally, if I could say one thing, if you've seen the movie, the show Empire, that's how I foresee everything in the future. But in regards to the bridge is very simple. If you have an NFT on Stargaze, you simply transfer it to our bridge wallet, and in the memo you type in your MetaMask address, or in other words, your Polygon address. And then when you hit transfer, it goes into the bridge, meaning all that does is it transfers into our holding wallet or our bridge wallet. And then on Polygon, there's a relayer that reads the memo. So this is all that happens on the back end. It reads the memo from Stargaze, which is in Rust, if you guys know coding. And then when you move it over to Polygon, it's a different. You have Polygon. The contract over there will mint that same token to you. I do have a manual gate that I don't have to have this gate, but I check every single NFT that comes across the bridge to always make sure there's no mistakes. We don't have to have that, but it's very simple. It goes into the bridge within 15 minutes, and then once I push it through, it goes into your wallet in about another 5 minutes. And then you can trade it, you can stake it, you can do whatever you want to do.
And that's live right now. It could go through the
Correct.
Discord.
Correct.
And there's instructions for that. Cool. So it looks like someone's trying to unload a one of one. I don't know if this is the space for that. I think these are the hodlers in this space.
Who's unloading a one of one? Are you?
No, Wolfman. If you look at
Wolfman.
Oh, is that what he said?
He's a hodler too. He probably never sold an NFT in his life, but he's definitely bought the most.
350K stars. Well, I mean, if you guys buy it for that, that's fine. I think Wolf deserves that one, so someone go sweep that. I think he's got the one of one. What is it? The Freddy versus Jason one, or the Jason mask, or it's the Freddy mask. That's what it is. And yeah, it's nice.
I mean,
yeah, I think shouts goes out to Wolfman. He's the guy that's put us in with our bridge as well, and it's the very same process that EJ has. We've gone down the manual route as well, where we have to manually approve every single transaction, just because we want to make sure that on the back end everyone is receiving the right NFT via their Polygon address. It's been a very smooth process with like the process of moving your NFTs over. And I think at the moment we're roughly around about 40% within our mutant collection. And I guess it's all about the small steps, making sure you do them well instead of having to go back again and do something to correct something that you've done initially. So, rather measure twice and cut once, as they always say, and make sure you're doing everything the right way. And I think between me, EJ, Rebels, we are I guess, like you'd say, the guys that have done the initial move. And what we try and do is set a pathway for other people to, if they want to bridge, or if they want to aggregate, or if they want to expand their collection and to new users, you've got friendly community members and friendly founders that will open and willing to share Discord with yourself and discuss how you can make those moves. And I guess even on the other hand is like anything that we've done right now that we thought we could do differently, I'd be willing to share that kind of information with new collections that are kind of considering, a pathway into a different platform. And I think, between me and EJ, we talk about things like this and how we can do things better. EJ's always been a great person to talk to about, like you say, collections, sentiment, and me and him and a couple others, we have some real conversations on the back end, just talking about, like I said, progression, evolutions, and like I say, if you've got people like that in this community right now, it's really, clutch onto them people, because when the bull run comes, everything gets gated. You've got great gated communities. You have key holders. You don't have people that want to share your secret sauce. But right now, we're in a bear and we're trying to survive. And what we're trying to do is support one another. And I think that's how you grow your community, and that's how you grow confidence within the ecosystems, showing that we're relatable. We've been through the tough times, and we know what we've been doing, with those kind of tough times, and how we've managed to maintain and sustain the project.
Yeah, you mentioned Rebels. They're another one where they were kind of. I think the three of you guys were in the same boat. You were kind of orphaned by Terra, right? You guys were all about to launch, or at least planning to launch, and then boom, Terra happened, UST happened, and you guys all ended up on Stargaze. But you did look around, settled on Stargaze. At that time, Polygon was not really a major player, right? I know that they were. I like that they're closely connected to Ethereum, right? That's a huge advantage. Even if you think Cosmos has better tech and all that, they're positioned perfectly. They're positioned perfectly. When are we going to have women from Cosmos going through the bridge, ending up on a on a on,
It's
on
isn't it
As
next
Polygon?
soon
month? I don't think the alpha was dropped. I think it's next month.
as soon as I have free time, like seriously, I really want to finish all the work I'm doing for other projects, bringing new collection for Women from Cosmos. But yes, I've never said that I always gonna stay, in a Stargaze, as I was saying. Like I think, like when you have a brand, when you want to really make your project bigger, you have to expand it, and why not trying different marketplaces. I don't know, we tend to say like a lot of multi-chain, but then when projects do it, it's like, people are going to like kill you or something. And if we're here for multi-chain, let's really do it. I
Yeah,
think it's not about where the project it is, it's about actually the project, like what have they built before, what are they doing. And these two projects that we have here, they have been building since they launched,
it's
so
true. You guys were fast movers, and both of you launched in like a horrendous time for crypto, not for Cosmos even. You guys were able to bring people from Terra, first of all, and some of the people that you guys have brought over are super active, like mainstays in Cosmos. I don't see the problem with going cross chain at all. It would be like you're opening up like a bunch of hotels and you just open them up in the same city and you don't look outside your city. Eventually they're competing with each other. I think it's great to check out Polygon. At least you're going while it's hot, right? The last like, I don't know, what, 8 months, 9 months, Polygon has taken over the NFT narrative. They shoot up the rankings to number 3. They blow past Solana this week or this month, which is amazing because to me, Solana was like always like number 2 behind Ethereum, maybe number 3. I think the volume makes a huge difference. And what's crazy is if you guys go to cryptoslam.io, you could sort NFT data. They don't have Stargaze, and I know you do have to pay to feed your data to that site, but they even keep track of wash trading, right? And some of the and to put in perspective, Stargaze is so small. One collection on a top 10 blockchain is doing more volume than the whole Stargaze platform, right? They're doing like 1% of Matic's weekly volume. So I think you guys have to take a shot. And like I said before, you guys think very long term. You guys are not in the space, for a couple months, and then you're going back to another job or whatever it might be, and you're just trying to sell some NFTs in the meantime. And I think that
yes, and not about like dropping a collection and another. Like you can clearly see that they have like a roadmap. thinking in the future, and when you're thinking about your project as a brand, I think that's the key point.
I think of it
In
as a
where
brand.
I'm starting to take you serious, to be honest.
No, I don't care what they're building. The brand makes a difference because it's so cheap to launch collections outside of Ethereum. A lot of NFT collections shouldn't even exist, but because we're in Cosmos or Polygon or even Cardano, where I used to look, Solana, the gas fees are so cheap. People are just launching cheap collections, right? So now there's zillions of them out there. Your brand matters more, I think, than what you're building, because you want to be recognized when the market turns around. You want to still be there to catch all that, influx of liquidity or influx of new community. And I think you have to do what you can. Go to Polygon. I don't care. Go to Solana. At least I know my founders of the NFTs that I have are doing what's in the best interest of the community, whether they want to move or not.
Yeah.
I think that's where Joe.
No.
Sorry,
Go
EJ, you want to
ahead.
go?
Good.
I think that's where I think a lot of people kind of fall short of like visions. I think people are too interested in their own bags and pursuing their own, I guess their own agendas. And like say with maxis in any chain will always be maxis. And you're gonna always come across people that are gonna be core to that chain and want to see the development of that chain, and they feel like say um, doing what you are doing is treason of almost of some sort. Um, so it's I guess it's in that sense it's short-term vision, but the long-term vision is if a collection like EJ's or mine achieves the status that we're looking to achieve and achieve the roadmap that we're looking to achieve in terms of an official brand. We'll think the new meta is going to be this year is going to be about next year is going to be more about storytelling, and it's not just about NFTs, and how we want to kind of brand a project and what we want to do in the future. If like say if it catches fire, you're going to be in a position where you may be holding the Genesis collections of these projects, where the massive upside is you've been the ones that got in first. But if you already kind of don't see the expansions or see that going to different places to make sure the project gets more vision or gets more exposure is a bad thing, then you're like you say you're kind of reducing your own kind of growth for your own holdings. So how do you branch out these ideas without kind of while keeping the community integrated? And I guess, like say, it's about keeping the information that you have as transparent as possible with the community. Explain your vision, explain the ideas and why what we're trying to do X, Y, and Z. And I guess that's what we're trying to do now is like EJ and like Rebels, we're all trying to show what the future could look like. And like I say, when aggregator gets involved, it doesn't matter what chain you're on. People don't understand when the big aggregator gets involved, and you can have every single NFT chain on under one marketplace. It doesn't matter what chain you're on at that point. It's about how good is your brand.
Not only that, there might be a day where Magic Eden just adds an IBC front end when we have ICS 721, and then no one's going to even know Stargaze, Omniflix, whatever. There's just going to be a Cosmos tab on Magic Eden. Like you said, you're limiting your thinking if you can't go beyond a tiny ecosystem. But I don't know, EJ, if you have any comments on that.
Yeah. First off, how do you know what Magic Eden's already did? Magic Eden's always their team is, and I do like circle back to what Johnny said a while back was when you are onboarded, you are just swarmed with support from marketing, the business dev, the contract dev, everything, making sure the metadata is correct. I mean, but they do this because they want to make sure each project that launches is successful and sells out because that's what turns to them in the back end, right? And they're always ahead of the trend. One thing that I saw, you were asking about trend, and I do want to answer Signal's question. He asked something about volume and how does that affect.
I'll bring it up. Yeah.
Okay, you'll bring it up in a minute. Okay, so but like for the first like the people that are very like closed minded, right? You got to remember this is a business. This is a brand. if we chokehold ourselves to one chain, we are overexposing you as a holder to a very, very high security issue. If something happens on that chain or the liquidity flows away, you're stuck. So with bridges happening, and one day, yes, we all talk about it, we'll have interoperability, we'll have this and that, but that's not the case right now. So our goal when we saw, same thing with Bitcoin ordinals, was we saw what was happening. We saw this, and the number one thing you ask yourself when you invest, does this disrupt the market? And absolutely, ordinals disrupted the market. We went in. You guys should see the amount of inscriptions I messed up prior to actually doing it and getting our collection in there. They were such low inscriptions, but I didn't know what I was doing. I was like, I'll do it again next week. I'll do it again next week.
What's
And
your lowest? What's
I
your
think
lowest?
our lowest is like 62.
Oh
So
man, I got you beat.
Did you?
Yeah.
Good. What, did you buy it or you inscribe it?
I bought it.
Oh, that doesn't count.
25.
Okay, so I beat you 30 something.
Okay, so yeah, when I did that, like that was big, and then when I saw Polygon too, with the usage, and I started looking into contracts, like how do these contracts work? What can they do? Can you adjust them? Can you they're mutable, they're not immutable, and I just really enjoyed to see what was happening. And then on top of that, you had use and liquidity flowing in. So for you not to be in a business mindset thinking this, like there's sirens going off, pay attention. Like there's sirens going off. And there's some people that are like, nah, man, I'm never touching Polygon. I'm like, what? If you guys would follow our project, any project we gave whitelist to already, easy 5 to 20x on every project. So keep your minds open when you're looking around, and never be closed to one chain or one idea, and come up with solutions, not problems, and don't be a problem of a community.
I think people are definitely, the prices are screwing with people's heads, right? And then it affects people's judgment. You have people that are blaming something that has nothing to do with their current bags, right? What about limitations of Stargaze, right? That maybe three of you are founders, you're artists. Limitations of Stargaze that basically made it easier to just, Polygon's definitely the place to go now because Stargaze is not offering XYZ.
For me, I'll go
Sure.
first. I think it's not more limitations, guys, and I think this is more me taking a longer foresight and looking at things. It's more, it's a infant in its making at the moment. And I think if we take, like, I burden a lot of, I wouldn't say resentment, but I'd say it's more to do with not understanding the position Stargaze has been in, and Stargaze is in an infant stage at this moment. It's building its brand, it's building, the market cap alone is only 21 million at this moment. So having a chain that's very brand new, and having limited people working on the chain at the same time and trying to push as much things as possible, it's probably that was the reason that's kind of limited our branching out. For example, we wanted to do something where we wanted to do a swap shop within Stargaze, and because of the limitations of the contract, we weren't able to do it through the contract. So we had to do off chain through a server, be able to kind of swap your NFTs around. Where we could have really, if we were on Polygon, you could have done that through their contract because, like I say, it's immutable. There's far more ability within that, within the smart contract, or functionalities or customization. So for me right now, it's more about looking at where Stargaze has been from their inception to conception, and where Polygon is as a, like you say, inception to conception project. They're both at two different, milestones in where they are with their projects. You've got one that's launched in 2022, and you had one that's launched in 2019. So already between the two, the comparison is massive. The network is huge compared to both of them. So I guess what I'm kind of going towards now and looking at it with a kind of like a broader view is it's just the fact that Stargaze is not nowhere near in terms of market cap and adoption to where Polygon is, and that's why Polygon have been able to do so many more things with their project, because they've looked at what they wanted to attain and how they want to attain it, and they took a long approach. Stargaze may have the same idea. I do think Cosmos will be the next big bull run in 2025. I think it's going to be the one that's going to shoot up, and we're going to see a bigger adoption. I think right now it's just we're seeing a lot more move a lot quicker. And I think that's more about putting out fires with Stargaze. Like me and EJ, PS Lab, David from PS Lab, we've had a lot of questions with not a lot of answers. But what they've done now is they're actioning a lot of the stuff that was requested earlier, like, you know, reducing the fees of putting a project onto Stargaze, and making things a lot more accessible for people. If you're wanting to get as many people involved, you know, reduce fees, bring things where you can get adoption earlier. PS Lab, David had a great idea of, like, you know, like if you're looking to, you know, I think at one point they were looking at Lavana for a project to come on from Ethereum. Why not look at, you know, more established artists within the space, and how do we bring them into Stargaze? Because if we were an NFT based project, we need to look at creators in other spaces that we can adopt and bring into Stargaze. Yes, it's not the perfect time, but bringing people like with high caliber in terms of artists into the framework means that you potentially will have more eyes come into your project within, like, the ecosystem.
Yeah.
So I guess for me, it's one of them where it's an infant in its making, and my lens initially was more about why are they not doing X, Y, and Z, but really kind of taking the focus back on where they are as a project.
Before you popped on the space, I said that Stargaze does 1% of the volume of Polygon, not even of Ethereum, which does many multiples more of Polygon, and 3 out of the top 4 collections from the last month are the same artist, right? It would be Wolfman saying that Stars is an easy 100x in the next bull market. I think one of Stargaze's glaring opportunities would be to treat the Genesis creators as almost like Hall of Fame Cosmos artists, especially the ones that are still around, so that you would have all these Genesis creators where their collections are constantly in the top 5, top 10 in volume, even though it's been a year. Because I think when people come to a new chain, and that's what's going to happen in the next bull run, people will discover Stargaze, right? They're going to go for the newest minting projects or the OG projects that have been pushing ahead through the bear market, right? And I would like to see Stargaze just make a sincere effort to put the Genesis creators, or just the ones who came along in like the lowest of the lows and were ultra successful. I put you guys in that category. Pixel Wizards, there's a bunch, and just put them on a pedestal if they can, so that it's not only, you know, one creator who's responsible for like 80% of the volume on a platform. It just shows how much more there is to grow. I don't know, EJ, if you have any comments there.
Yeah, I mean, the first, I'll circle back to what the first question was the limitations of Stargaze. It's pretty simple. Stargaze is ran like a hobby right now. It's not ran like a business. There's not enough marketing. There's not enough business developers.
Wait, are you talking about Cosmos or just Stargaze?
Just Stargaze. I don't go outside of.
Oh,
Stargaze.
you haven't seen the other 55 chains in Cosmos?
So I do want to say this though. I have spoken with Shane, and the guy is dedicated to the core for Stargaze. He's probably one of the most genuine people I've spoken with on the phone.
I agree. And I met him a few times. He's like that in real life. Yeah.
And I think for Stargaze to grow, they need to really like rally around him as like a CEO or as the owner. And because Stargaze isn't decentralized, it's very far from decentralized. And sorry to burst your guys' bubbles, it just isn't. But
I think the app chains are more centralized. They're almost like DAOs, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. And it's kind of like a chain you come to have fun, right? You buy, and this is no shade at anyone. This is just an honest answer. It's a cheaper chain, and it's treated as a cheaper perspective, right? Like when you guys go buy, let's say a luxury shirt versus a shirt at Walmart, you don't treat it the same, right? And that's how I feel like with Stargaze. It's just a bunch of throwing things around back and forth like kids kind of arguing, rather than seeing what they have right in front of them, which is people like Shane. And if people would listen instead of complain and cause problems and come up with solutions and ideas, um, I know Stargaze is like a sleeping giant, right? But when I asked the team, and I've asked them this from day one, there is no marketing. They're all talking like this is coming, this is coming, this is coming. That's cool. Don't get me wrong, but you have no customers. Let's keep it Web two. You're bringing all these products out, but you got no customers because you don't know the marketing and you don't know your niche.
Yeah.
So that's where I see an issue. That's where there were some red flags for me. But that's nothing against them as people. This is things they can address when they know it's a problem. And
Yeah.
I think they are, because Joe, when you started being louder about like tokenomics and people started getting behind you and really getting their voice out there and speaking, they started to kind of listen. And look what's happening
Yeah.
now.
I harassed a little bit, but then I got people in my DMs who didn't speak up. They were the ones that actually wrote the prop eventually. And I had a little bit of input. I I I think it's risky to meddle with the tokenomics as much as I really wanted to, but I got to say that the Stargaze team, they listen compared to other teams. I would say a lot better, and you do need to like be annoying. I think in this space because things just get lost in social media, and that's how 90% of the communication is.
I mean,
Absolutely.
sorry, I fat fingered my mic, and I agree. That's the communication with, and even when you talk to Shane, and and I'm not going to say words he says, but you can see there's parts of the business that do frustrate him, and he wishes there was
Well,
better communication.
I do have to
So
say the greater cosmos, they don't appreciate what Stargaze actually brings to the table, keeping people in the ecosystem when there's really no reason to be here.
exactly,
And
amen to that.
The Cosmos Hub, they invested a whole bunch of money in ICS 721. You don't hear anything about it anymore. They need to run like a 6-month campaign so that every single person knows that's coming, even if you only ever used Ethereum, right? Shane's told me they're looking into inscriptions. They're looking into bridging ETH assets. They should just tease everything out. And if they never even get to half of it, who cares? Like Polygon got so much attention on it, and I'm sure there were lots of things that they tried to do that they never did, but the word just gets out. Polygon's doing all these things. And if they do one of those things, it ends up being good. Who cares if they never really the other things don't materialize, right? So I agree with you there. I think there could be more. There is no good marketing effort in the Cosmos as a whole. Even the founders themselves of the different chains, you're lucky if they do one 45-minute space a week, and that's like not even close to what I would consider minimal effort, right? Evmos
Uh,
should be doing spaces around the clock in multiple languages with the problems they've had and the potential they have. You know, it's very strange here where we're building. Well, like you're building what, when, for who, for yourselves? I guess I don't know.
we've had Shane previously on one of our spaces with TSAS, and I think one of the questions that David from PS Lab put forward was like, what are you guys doing to progress the space for Stargaze, and how do you want to onboard new users? And Shane's kind of answer was at that point was, we're going to use the projects that have already looking to migrate and use them for a prop to bring users on to Stargaze. So um, there was no forward thinking of, right, if we want to see a successful project like Skelly's and TSAS do well over on Stargaze, we should support these projects while they're making this transition. So it is imperative that they are successful, and if they are, it's going to give us a better opportunity to
I,
branch out. Instead, all we see is the same 2 projects, 3 projects. I'm not going to name them. You all know who they are, sitting at top of the tree. And my next question was, the projects that are currently on the top of the tree right now in Stargaze, would any of them be able to be successful on another chain? I guess that's my question to you, Joe. Would you see any of the top 3 projects or top 2 projects on there that's not Ozo Skelly's? Would you see them being successful on another chain bearing
I think
Stargaze?
it's so hard to predict when PFPs are going to take off or not, because it's almost like they hit like a cultural thing in the ecosystem at the perfect time. Like I looked at Bored Apes. I used to see them in the subway in New York City. I'm like, those things are stupid. Those things are ugly. And then 3 months later, they're $100,000. So I don't know. Definitely not for this long, because PFPs get replaced, right? You could only have one PFP, and there are a million PFP collections, right? I would like to see. I don't want to call it a sub DAO, but a committee, like you said, assisting with migrations, maybe assisting brand new artists. Hey, I'm an artist. I've never minted an NFT collection. Stargaze is really cheap. I'd like to put out like, a small collection. And then it it doesn't need to be the same people writing the code, doing the marketing, doing the physical, holding the hands to onboard people. I don't think, but the attention needs to be paid to that somehow. And maybe having like a committee of actual successful artists that are, of diverse styles and advice could do the trick. But that would mean they're Stargaze has to hire them to do that, right? I don't think the
And they
code
will need the support,
of the hub.
because no, just Stargaze, like going back of what you asked us before, like what we were missing. I mean, I think I have the right to say I've been already 1 year. I'm still missing more support from the platform to different artists. I'm not even talking about myself, because at this point it's like, okay, but missing like really more support to different projects, more than just giving you the launchpad space, like actually holding your hand and go with you through the entire process, put more attention to different collection, highlight maybe new creators that they are just joining us, like if you're really started with us, I really want to give you the best experience ever, so I don't know, put a light on you, share more things from different projects, and not just keeping the same.
Yeah, I don't. I think when we remember we had Shane a couple weeks ago, and I asked him about the hub doing more for the app chains, because they are limited, right? Especially with Stargaze has a unique problem where they have a massive community pool that they can't really spend. But the hub is investing all this into ICS 721. It's been for years, apparently. They should be preparing for this tech to not only onboard people that from other ecosystems, but the people that are here to just use it more. And I think there has to be some joint solution there between like a small app chain like Stargaze or Omniflix, or it doesn't even need to be an NFT chain. Maybe the hub does have an interest in supporting, whether it be, hey, here's a budget where you could hire like a business development team. Here's a budget where you could hire a marketing team, or here's a budget where you could have rotating positions of creators to help onboard or run your spaces for you. Like let the community run some of these spaces, because to someone like me, I'm just minting, I'm trading, I'm in the telegrams and stuff. I don't know what's going on between the artists and the platform. So this is interesting. When we were having the talk yesterday, EJ and Maria, and now this talk as well, it is interesting to hear that on other platforms, they do all kinds of things to get not only artists, but the buyers. They're basically bringing them together on their platform, that it just doesn't happen on others. It's interesting to hear from my viewpoint.
Yeah, I would feed off that and say you'd be very surprised what else is out there when you just start looking. I mean, that goes from HBAR to Polygon to wherever you're looking. You'd be very surprised with how quickly not just developers will help you, but the team to kind of help you get collaboration started, which we didn't have any of that when we came to Stargaze. There was no help, right? The person that helped me was, I would say the most was Robin East and Cal. Like Cal was my go-to. I called him, and actually he was the one that said, "Hey, just come to Stargaze." And him and OSB got me hooked up with him. And I think it was probably 4 or 5 calls before we even made the decision to announce we were leaving from Polygon. And I was very shocked that there was no assistance on Stargaze, zero. And with all that, I was just, and thank goodness there was other communities, and at the time, TSAS was just bumping, and from there we just got to know people, and then Robin East from Rebels, love the guy, and just that's how we were thankfully able to launch, because we launched on FTX and we still minted out, thank goodness. But I don't know. I don't like. I guess like the biggest thing for Cal as well was we had to use a dev. We used Deployed in was our dev, and if it wasn't for him, I don't think I would have known what to do, because they're like, well, here's a Stargate Studio. Just here you go. And I was like, what? Like what? So you're not going to help me, but you're going to take percentage of my mint, but you're not going to offer any assistance. That makes no logic.
Yeah,
So yeah,
I
that's
could
where we
see
kind
that.
of got. That's where it kind of got like, it's interesting as you open up your library and your mind to these other chains. You kind of realize you were missing out on some things that would have been offered as a new founder if you just looked a little further.
I think that even that could be done by experienced artists on the platform, maybe in an exchange for some of that fee. Or, let's say you help a similar collection, you walk them through the process, and it's a very successful mint. Maybe now Skelly's owns a 0.5% of that collection or something like that, or um, 80% of whatever the fee was to launch on the platform in the first place. I know they've changed their fees. I know they've changed their fees, but what do you say we end with some more loaded questions? I got one for Maria. I got one for EJ for sure. And then, yeah, I already gave Cal a hard time, but I'll think of one more for you as well. And then, of course, Maria, you could definitely. I know Maria has the toughest questions. I get a bad rap, but Maria always has the toughest questions.
That's not true.
I'll start with Maria, and maybe the chat can give a thumbs up or a thumbs down to see how well that people have answered the questions. But Maria, let's say you cannot mint on Stargaze anymore. Where are you minting your next collection? Is it Polygon? Is it Solana? Is it Kusama? Right, you've been over at Kusama as well, or another chain, or are you staying in Cosmos?
Ordinals.
I forgot Ordinals. All right.
If not, I will go to Polygon.
Polygon.
To be honest.
Wow.
Yes, because it's the easiest. To be fair, like I've been already on ETH. It's impossible. Like it's no way. You have to have like the good father to guide you and get the attention, because if not, it's like you in the middle of the sea. No way happening. So yeah, that's my answer. I don't know if you like it or not, but
Oh no, I'm all in on Ordinals, and I was just talking to one of my friends today who gives me a lot of good advice, like running my channels and where to focus my attention. And he said 50% of your spaces should be on Bitcoin Ordinals, and I was like, yeah, you're probably right, probably.
I
So I
told
guess
you.
in a couple of weeks we'll have to do another Ordinals banger with a different group, of course. All right, I got one for EJ. So you've got one of the most successful collections on Stargaze, right? It's the Skellies, and all the volume is there for you guys. But then you have to explain to people, hey, thanks for buying all our Polygon NFTs. Now there's a process to mint evil Skellies on another chain. How did you explain that to your community? Do you think it went over well? Do you think it could have done better? Do you think there were some people that felt like they were being, quote, abandoned? How did that go for you?
Yeah, so you don't have to mint anything on Polygon. Your spaceships, when they're bridged over and you reveal them, they become the evil skellies. So that's all done at your leisure. So as
And by
a
the way, you
holder,
choose which ones you want to bridge over. You can keep some on Polygon. Okay.
exactly. So if you
I've
want to
got
play
some
both,
good ones. I've got some good ones.
yeah, and if you want to play both sides of the bridge, you can. You can stay on Stargaze, and maybe, and then the reason we did it this way is so the Stargaze community can have an arbitrage moment, because the people on Polygon, if the floor price goes up, they're either forced to come learn Stargaze to buy ships off the floor, or they'll wait until people bridge over their ships, and those people on Stargaze who were airdropped these ships, if I must say, these elixirs and ships, if they held skellies, they can now have an arbitrage moment where they can make some liquid on Polygon if they choose to sell them. So that was, I want to reiterate, our bridge was chosen by the community. It was 100% a community vote. They chose for us to say, let's go to Polygon. Let's go continue to build out on Polygon. So the community took it well. There's certain people, no, of course you're going to have some unhappy customers here and there. But like
not in Discord. Don't tell me that. I don't believe that.
Yeah. So, and thankfully, like honestly, our Discord is a very good group of people, and that's where I enjoy my time because they all just get it. We're here to like we may mess up, or we will mess up, and so will somebody else. But we're gonna make it right. And the reason we're making these decisions and these hard decisions, it's not like we make them overnight. Is that we study the markets and we listen to you guys and we try to give you these options. So when we said we're going to Polygon, everyone was happy because guess what? Now you have 2 chains you can put your ships on for liquid. You have 2 chains now, 2 options instead of 1. Imagine 1 option and then it's sucked away from you. But now you got 2. And then once you do that and you get them over, you're introduced into a whole new ecosystem of Polygon. And from there, you never know. You might just go over to just make some liquid. But then again, you're like, wow, actually, there's this really other cool collection. And then you meet some more people and you meet more people. That's the goal. And that people didn't see that at first. And maybe we didn't, I don't know, we didn't market it the best. But it was done with the community. And the mint coming up, there's a mini mint of ships. The ones we hold in our treasury are the ones that are going to be minted on Polygon. So that's what we're doing. But the ships you own, you can move them over whenever you want to reveal them.
All right. Cal, you guys have a lot of collections, right? You have the OGs, the mutants, the humans. The humans were like the crazy 85% minted by your whitelist. What am I missing? It's those three official ones.
Your favorite one,
and there's
Joe?
a beautiful,
Maybe?
our beautiful
My
cross
favorite.
collaboration.
I consider that Maurice collection. I keep forgetting that it was a collab. Loved it. All right, so you have 4 major collections and a bunch of community collections, your fundraisers, the Shady's Birds, all that. Out of your 4 main collections, one of them is going to be a rug pull. Which one is it?
He's hating you, like for real.
Please, can we not associate rugs with the word rug in this community environment? I don't see any of our collections being classed as a rug pull. We work in. I think one thing that we've kind of identified is we're working backwards before we work forwards. So we are looking at the flaws and looking at what we can do to improve the engagement with each one of those collections. And I think first things first is establishing a floor for each one of them collections. And what we're doing right now is, like I say, is maintaining what we've already achieved with the success on Stargaze and bringing back more engagement with the humans and telling the story a little bit more. Because, like I said, we believe in the new meta being storytelling. So we engage in the community with all of the collections because each one of them have a reason to be there because they're all part of the greater universe of TSAS. So it'd be a rug pull of a collection. But if you want to stake your money on them, it would be on any one of them collections. And you hopefully at the end of the day, we're all looking for a return. You should get a return back on your investment.
I did so well minting.
But those,
humans.
I guess, that's the.
I did so well minting humans. I got 2 crowns. I did well minting skellies. I did really well minting rockabellas. So I can't complain. Now, serious question though for Kyle, if you could name one person from your community that you didn't know before you came to Stargaze, because you have a lot of, I would say, extreme value add community members. Who's the one person you would want to shout out right now as a like super enthusiastic, involved community member? Just if you had to call out one person.
I think I think a lot of them already are established within Stargaze and within the Cosmo ecosystem. But I think one person that's really been a bright light right now is Poetic Math. He's one of our newest council members. Very enthusiastic entrepreneur outside of NFTs. Has a very business mindset, and has a very broad vision of where he sees NFTs and TSAS as a project. So make sure you guys add him on your Discord. Amazing person to speak to. Has such a interesting perspective on how NFTs can be kind of looked at in terms of as a business prospect and as a project. But I just want to kind of quickly tail off what you were asking earlier.
Sure.
Guys, invest in NFT projects, because like all three of us here have seen, a chain could kind of spiral to zero. But if you're invested in a NFT and that NFT has a bridge like EJ and Cal does, then they can bridge those NFTs to somewhere where they're safer and can carry on trading. If they're only, like, say, allocated to one NFT, one ecosystem, and they can't move and there's no potential for a bridge, you're stuck holding the bag. But if a coin goes to zero, we can still move your NFT for you.
All right. I mean, I like the expansion. I know Maria was never a chain maxi. Stargaze was like what, your third or fourth chain where you minted collections, right?
My third. The
Third?
first one for the project, but my third. I was on ETH and on Tethos before.
Look at, I'm becoming like a I don't know, like a legend of minting. I got super lucky on Stargaze mints. On every other chain I've ever minted, it's been a disaster where I'm like minting like the lowest rarity every time. But yeah, I did well. I could show you guys my wallet, but
That's me every
nobody
time.
wants to look at other people's NFTs. You only want to look at your own. And that's why people price their NFTs so ridiculously on the secondary market, because they like their NFTs more than anyone else's. So, but I don't know. I think this was a good space, great stream, awesome people in the chat. I'll do a wheel spin. Oh, EV Bio, you just got in for the contest. You're so lucky. I'm gonna do a wheel spin for those Matic tokens from EJ, and yeah,
Let's add a mutant from Polygon in there as well.
a
That'll be for
Polygon
my
mute. All
personal.
right, geez, I'm not gonna say no to that.
Yep.
All right. So I don't know, Maria. What do you think? We did 4 of these. We're doing pretty well.
Yeah,
we're doing well.
I think we're getting better.
Getting
I
better.
love we're having different topics. So yeah, it's
Yeah.
good. And I wanted to have this conversation, even though I'm not migrating right now, because I think it's important for people to actually hear from the founders, actually try to understand, like, guys, let's open our minds, please. Like, actually try to see this as a brand, as a business. We're doing our best. We're even here during this bear market. We keep building, we keep providing, quality and content to the community. I think, like, before judging, you should go and really inform yourself.
I agree. And of course, EJ, I'll share any mint info that you got when it becomes available. Feel free.
For sure.
I'll try to join some of your Discords.
Yeah, I'll send that over to you once we get Magic Eden sent us the finalized dates and stuff. We're still working on some backing contract, just so everyone knows, some backing contract work, and then making sure everything goes smooth, and we'll get that information to you.
All right.
Joe, could I do a shameless?
Of course, man. You should have did it in the beginning.
Last second for our.
Of course.
No, it's one that just kind of came to my head. Guys, this is not being fully announced at this moment, so it's going to be to your viewers first. We are going to be doing a free mint on Poly, and I know everybody likes a free mint. It's been something that we've been part of our strategy of onboarding Polygon holders and trying to give back rewarding. So if anybody holds a mutant that's been bridged over, will already be whitelist for a free drop, and anybody that's part of the Polygon community can come in. So there is going to be a collection, which is going to be a free collection, and we've looked at the data on how free mints go. So we want to bring, bridge for both communities, something that two communities can then go
And for
enjoy.
both you guys, the bridge information, if people are confused, just go into the Discord and there'll be a channel of some sort or a pin post. Great.
Correct.
All right. Well, I appreciate you guys. I know Kyle and Maria, you guys have like the worst time zone for me, but you always accommodate. So thank you very much. People in the chat, I'll do a wheel spin. I'll record it and then I'll release it like Sunday or Monday. The proof of participation NFTs on Omniflix. I'll put that link in the YouTube description. But the answer to that question was in the first like 10, 12 minutes of the space. So if you joined us late, you listen back to the beginning, you might even know the answer without even having to listen to the space. Ambito, I added you into the contest. Ambito sat here for 2 hours and then just put like 4 comments at the end to try to get into the contest. But yeah, no, thanks so much. We'll have something next week as well. I have something good planned, or we have something good planned. So hopefully you guys will join us again.
Thank you, guys.